So hello and welcome on this program. I'm Bansy Kalappa. With me is a group editor, Ms. Santwana Bhattacharya. We also have uh, Dr. Professor Rini Ralte, who is in Manipur. She's from the Northeast Solidarity. We also have a fact finder and a journalist, someone who's won an international award also, Mr. Anto Akkara, who was in Manipur for about a week and thereafter was in Guwahati for about a week, finding out, really fact finding what is really going on. We also have Mr. Aphao from the Northeast Solidarity, who is the Vice President, who is joining us from Bangalore. So, first of all, Professor Dr. Rini Ralte, you have been in Manipur for the past 11 days. How bad is the situation there? Because today you couldn't find a point to connect online with us. You managed to somehow do this, through some special provision. So, how bad is the situation in Manipur?
Hi, everyone. This reminds me of 2012 Northeast people exodus from Bangalore, basically. So as a Northeast Solidarity team, me and Aphao are representing today. So I am on the ground. Yeah. So this is my 11 days of visit on the other side of Manipur, that is Lamka area, Churasanpur. Because Mizoram, I am stationed in Mizoram. So from Mizoram, I take a route. Otherwise, it is impossible to go to Imphal right now. So this is the only possibility for us. So as a team, we are doing a fact finding. The situation is very tense, very, very tense. See, the day before yesterday, we also have a fresh encounter of killing, massacre, headhunter, cutting the head, and someone was carrying the head of someone, and body being mutilated. The body they recover is only 2 cases right now. 2 cases that was brought back to Lamka hospital. So the people are really in fear, very high tense, because I am talking from the third person, that they are afraid because the state, it is a state sponsored violence. So they have little hope. So that was the situation right now. And the food, the ration has not reached to Churasanpur area from Imphal. Not even a kg has reached since 65 days ago. That was May 3rd. So only the food provision, the only lifeline is to Mizoram, and Mizoram government is very open to help. Mizoram NGOs are very open to help in whatever way they can, and the public are very kind enough to help. So far, I think somehow they have food to eat, a place to sleep. So I can give you a lot of statistical information, but that is not the issue right now. So we are really engaged in what way this violence can be stopped and peace may be restored. Who is an agency, who are the methods, instruments to bring peace. So the mistrust of the present government is very strong from the cookie side of it, and the demand of fact-finding, the true story, is the urgency, because they are being blamed falsely. That is the outcry of the people. Yeah, for the time being. Yeah, in the course of time, we can all discuss together.
Well, Mr. Akkara, you were in the area of Manipur for about a week. You also were in Guwahati for about a week because there was no net connectivity there. You visited some of the points, relief camps where some of these displaced persons were kept. Can you tell us about your experience? You went all the way from Bangalore and Kerala to Manipur to really find out what's happening.
See, I mean, instead of saying what happened initially, now what concerns me is what is happening now. After on the 63rd day, I'm
65.
deliberately wearing a black shirt to protest. It's a shame for the Indian democracy. Of course, they say there is a ethnic conflict between two tribes or two groups, Kukis and Meiteis. Let us just blindly accept that there is a conflict. Let us blindly accept, I said. But what is the Indian state doing? The largest democracy on the earth, as Prime Minister boasts every here and there. What is the health of the Indian democracy? Now, did you see? I shared a picture. A man carrying the head of a young man and holding a dagger in his hand. Is this called democracy? It's shameful. I think we have never seen images like in the history of the country. Has the police done anything to arrest this guy, whoever it is? Whoever it is. A man boldly carrying a head, I mean, just the head by the hair, just the head by the hair, and a bloody dagger in his hand. And what does it show? Tell the world. When I was in Manipur, an IPS officer told me, we are going to the stone ages. We are going to the stone ages. And now it has been literally proved true. This image, this gory image. Where is the state? Where is the Indian state? Where is the judiciary? Where is the government? Where is the police? Where is the army? Why do these things happen? No, this is what should concern us. Forget about the, I mean, people have their agenda, whatever it is. I'm not, I don't want to go into the nitty-gritties of this violence, kudko prone and all those things. But I want to know, tell the world, where is the Indian state? A chief minister, how long he can hold that chair? Is it because of political opportunism of the big guys? The prime minister of the country does not open his house. Today he is announced he is going to visit 4 more states to inaugurate projects. When a part of the country is bleeding and burning and is full of fumes and dark clouds, the prime minister does not open his mouth. There is something seriously wrong with Indian democracy. I think that should what concern us, because this has been going on for how many days? We have one of the largest, bulkiest constitution in the world, and Article 350 says if the law and order fails, the central government has to act. Now, the deputy, what you call the foreign minister, Ranjan Singh, his house was burned despite 21 soldiers guarding it. 21 soldiers guarding it. They didn't fire when the mobs came. That is a question. Now, he himself was in Kochi and he said, this is a breakdown of law and order. When the deputy foreign minister of the country publicly says he's burning his own house, for what? And then, what is the government doing? Why can't the central government duty bound by constitution? Forget about Biren Singh, the chief minister who has come to be the chief minister of the Meiteis, not of the Manipur. Because the announcement he made a day before yesterday, what did he say? We will destroy all people's bunkers. What are these bunkers? Because as the Kuki nationalist leader Wilson said, the separation is complete. The Meiteis have left the hills. The Kukis have left the valley. Now, what has happened? So, Kukis have been chased. Meiteis have been chased out from what they call Churchandpur Kuki area. And all the Kukis of what they call the mainland, the Imphal Valley, the thickly populated, they have been just driven out. They fled for their life. How many have been killed? God only will know. Because I think not even proper FIRs have been filed into these murders. Bodies have not been counted or traced or given to the relatives. No attempt has been made. No culprits arrested. In such a situation, now the Kukis have moved to the hills, and those who are living on the foothills of the hills, they built up bunkers not to attack Meiteis. I'm not defending Kukis or Meiteis, but what I'm saying is the reality. Because they are a minority, they are on the foothills. And this morning I was reading what they call a popular daily, which says 20 trucks of people, 20 trucks of insurgents armed with weapons attacking a small village on the foothills of the mountains. What can the poor people can do? And you go and chop off the head of a young man? and put it on a fence? Where is this country heading for? What is this government, the central government? It's a shame. I don't know which constitution they have adhered to. When will the Chief Justice of India intervene in this farce? He must put an end to the farce, because we don't expect Prime Minister Modi to do anything, because Prime Minister Modi and Hindutva elements they lost their what they call the cleverly manipulated, or I don't say bribed, but induced or lured support in the Northeast with the states like Nagaland and Arunachal. They have lost because they know it is not Sabka Saath. The Sabka Saath is lying like what I call in total disarray, like the burned churches or burned houses. It is lying in ashes. Modi ka Sabka Saath khadam ho gaya. The agenda is clear. Then there is a chief minister who wants to project himself as the savior of the Meiteis. I want fundamentalists to their lobby. So BJP is lost. It is what it had in hand, it is gone, and it is what is in the mouth is also slipping. So their strategy is to hold on to the Meitei nationalists held in the north.
Okay.
I think the
Okay.
Chief Justice of India, let us all make our voices heard. It is time for the Chief Justice of India, the judiciary, to intervene and say, please end this farce. It's a shame for the country.
Okay.
It is never happened in the history of the country.
Okay. Now, Dr. Rini Ralte, yesterday you visited the father of the dead man whose head was chopped off and put on a fence. How did you manage that? You actually visited David's father there.
David's father came to a particular village. I think that we cannot hide. I mean, we cannot reveal his location. So somehow we got the information that he has come to his distant relative or close relative. I'm not too sure. Somehow we managed to meet him. Yes, we took a photo. David was having a brother, younger brother, and he was a farmer. His father was having Parkinson. That's why he cannot have a movement also. And his mother died. So there are 4 members in the family, and he was really the life support of the family. Actually, he was requested by the community leaders that people are looting their property, their food and everything. So therefore, it is important that we have to protect them. So they went back to protect the village. They have no air gun also, no arms. They have only, what do we call it, the knife, I mean, whatever the tools they use it for agriculture. So they went back, but the Métis came in a big number from 3 different directions. So they are surrounded. Of course, he ran away, but he was shot. But still, he continued to run. Ultimately, he could not run. So they told me that he was tied in a rope, and then they play with him like animal with knife and all. So then the body was chopped into pieces, and then the head was cut, and then it was burned. So the remains are only the weight of 2 kgs. It is very painful. They are innocent people. They don't know what is the political atmosphere also, because they are in a very rural village. So agriculture was their only livelihood. Whatever they store was a little they have was the only thing they have. So the feeling of the cookies in Manipur is that they are let down. They are let down by the government. The people, they are rejected community. They don't want them anymore. Yeah, Métis Lipon leader was making a statement that we are going to annihilate the community, the Kuki community. So they are in great fear. Where do they go? They have nowhere to go. So therefore, we really have to look at it from different angles. For example, they they are feeling so painful that they are wrongly accused to the global world as drug peddler, drug trafficker or whatever. And those are so many bad names have been attached to their community for that they are feeling bad about it, which is not true at all. So when they have no hope at all, where do they go? They go to God only. The whole community is full of prayer, fasting prayer, and women group, youth group. So everywhere there will be fasting prayer, praying like anything. That is the only hope they have right now. So humanitarian aid is not accessible now. Even the Red Cross Society medicine have not reached, not even one single item of provisions have come to Churachandpur side. What shall we do? Yeah, when our people, big people are in crisis right now. Yeah, it is important that the international community have to step in and put a stronger pressure. Yeah, that is the situation right now. Aphao may be able to say some more about the other aspect because Aphao is from Tangkul community where he himself experienced. Yeah.
So, Mr. Aphao, you are also from the Northeast Solidarity. You are from the Tangkul community. So, can you explain a little bit on
See, last May 4th, on that day, it's I reached home in airport.
Okay.
So when I see full burning, house burning, vehicle burning, so full around that's burning. We are in an airport. So they try to come in airport also. So the airport inside is not open. They close 5 o'clock. So we are outside that sitting room. And many people came and they tried to come. And so the army, then the police, they save us. They are not allowed to go inside. So on that night, we slept there. And second day also, we are there, but we can't do anything. Some escort people came, and around 2 o'clock, they took. So we went Ukhur. So we can't do anything. We can't move anything. I'm 15 days in Manipur. So we want to move here and there. I want to save people. We want to, do something. But even vehicle also not moving. There is no internet. We can't have anything. I came back in Bangalore again. So the situation is very bad. I want to say about something about Manipur. Till now, PM is silent. And Manipur, if they want peace, why they are fighting? If they want peace, really, the Indian government, many armies there, they can just keep mighty, and they can give in cookies. See, only 2 tribes is fighting. Many more tribes, they are silent. Because of many more tribes, they are silent. Why? So we cannot invoke what they are fighting. If the father, mother is don't know, so we cannot invoke. If the PM is silent, how the children can invoke? Very difficult to invoke. But many people, they are survey for the peace. Even we are survey for the peace. We need peace. But sometimes very difficult.
Okay.
Manipur government is example, Manipur government is not only for 2 tribes.
Okay.
Manipur government is for 4 tribes. Suppose, example, I'll give one example. See, commando cannot go only one side. Police cannot go only one side if they want peace. If they want peace, they can handle and they can hold the fighting. It's not easy, but they can, I believe. If they can do that, Manipur will peace after 15 days or so. But if they are one side, there will be not peace.
Now, let us go over to the group editor of the New Indian Express, Ms. Santwana Bhattacharya.
The situation is, of course, very, very disconcerting, very disturbing, especially after we have reported about David's case. It's in our paper, despite the fact that the day after the incident, despite the fact that there was no official or army confirmation on the incident, the level of violence and brutality is something which is deeply disturbing and unnerving. All of you have spoken about the situation, about the destruction that has been writ large. But we have to find ways of moving forward. There is suggestion that the judiciary, the CJI should suo motu act. But the bottom line, the Prime Minister should make a statement, make an appeal, and he has not spoken as yet. That is a recurring thing that we are hearing from Manipur, from various voices almost on a daily basis, that and a need for an appeal from Prime Minister. The thing that we have to look towards is how to restore peace. All of you are on the ground. Some of you have gone for fact-finding. Some of you are there whose lives have been hit by the 63 days of unending violence. I am sure, like you say, that describing the Kuki community in a certain manner is unacceptable. Associating the community with some drug dealing is not right. Similarly, I'm sure within the Methi community, and I have spoken to people, right-thinking people who are opposing this level of violence that is taking place, this conflict that has ensued. So we have to find ways to reach out to the right-thinking people, restore the narrative, and restore peace to begin with. So how as a media organization, we can help in the matter is what we need to know. The reason we thought of getting all of you together is to allow you a platform to voice your concern and maybe help you reach the authorities in a manner where we can make the authority take note of it and act in a manner where a semblance of peace can be restored. So what I would in the next round expect from you people as we recount and discuss the situation on the ground, ways to restore peace, ways to move towards normalcy. Is president rule an option? Is an intervention from the CJI option? Is an appeal from the Prime Minister an option? Is removal, a change of guard of leadership of the state an option? Let us discuss those things and make an appeal to the larger audience to the central government in a manner that some action is taken. What are the immediate action that being on the ground you think is necessary right now? Truth and reconciliation can happen later, but peace,
Yes,
restoration of normalcy and peace is the most important thing right now.
that is the urgency.
Absolutely.
Actually, I tweeted to the Prime
Rini,
Minister to help us and involve and raise his voice. No response. Then later on, the second tweet I made is that even in 2012, while we are all in Bangalore, there was an incident of fear mass exodus. That time, didn't Prime Minister Manmohan Singh was making announcement in the two houses that peace will be restored, Northeast people will be safeguarded. That much of assurance has been given from the parliament. Then the state of Karnataka was implementing that assurance. It was restored almost in a few days' time. We are expecting the same thing to happen. This is much more targeted. The issue is very clear, much more clear compared with 2012. Yeah, when Bansy was also interviewing us many times. So now, in order to restore peace right at the moment, what is the best option? Even the president's rule, will it help? Because it is a teamwork, it seems. If you look at the incidents, what time, how much of buildings have been burned down, exact time, exact hour, and the location. When we look at all these things, it is a planned program. Nobody can deny it. Otherwise, it cannot happen. At the same time, in different places, in a big, large scale, targeting the churches and the cookie communities and the whatever institutions. Yeah. So therefore, the silence of the Prime Minister has become a big question, everybody's question, not only the Manipuri people, but also for everybody. Why is he silent? Yeah, he was using silence as an instrument to attack, annihilate, massacre, and ethnic cleansing to the others. His silence cannot be no longer accepted. We cannot accept anymore. If he is still in power, if he is still the Prime Minister of India, his one word can bring peace. But that has not been given. Their peace is denied. Cookie peace is denied. Now everybody is becoming instrumental. For example, every incident, we know it. Who are the front line? The women are coming to the front line, then commandos, then whatever radical groups. Unthinkable. It's all drama, but people are dying. People are dying. You don't see the people suffering. Look at the whole generations accumulation of their wealth, the houses, whatever condition may be, are all taken away. The return is completely uncertain. Lamka city is full of refugees. More than 100 refugee camps are there with a population you cannot imagine. Many people are in everywhere, whether they may be in Delhi, Calcutta, or other cities of India. So I'm so desperate to see the situation, the envisioning the future. Yeah, I think that there is no option other than president's rule. We may not like it, but that is the first option. Then the rest, it will take its own course.
Mr. Akkara, would you like to come out with whatever you think is the solution for this problem? Mr. Akkara?
Yeah, see, I mentioned one area was that the silence of the government and the need for judicial intervention. because the people who should do the custodians of the constitution is not performing their duty. Then there is the monitor, the judiciary has to intervene. But I want to highlight another dimension, that is the predicament of the army. During the all-party meeting 12 days ago, the government said 35,000 Indian army men has been posted, deployed in Manipur because of the conflict. Now, two things, very, very shocking. Now, at the beginning of the violence, if you remember, I think on third or the fourth day, there was a firing by the army in Churchandpur because some of the cookies were objecting to the Meiteis being taken out by the army safely out of Churchandpur. It's a cookie area. The army was evacuating the Meiteis. And some cookies, hot-blooded, whoever it is, that was wrong. They objected and they protested. The army fired. 4 people were killed and more than a dozen were injured. The Meiteis were safely evacuated. Yeah, so 35,000 army has been made spectators. Now, the army is also intelligent. They caught a culprit, a man who ambushed an army unit and killed 16 Indian soldiers. One, I think Uttam, his short name is Uttam. He was caught along with the 12 others 10 days ago. And then army caught this man who had led the ambush on the army in 2015 and killed 16 Indian soldiers. So the army's intelligence wing caught this guy and 11 others. 12 of them were taken to the army camp. And 1,500 women led by Meitei BJP MLA got them released. What a pity for the army.
Meitei women, it is being said they are almost leading, and we can call it a clique, or which is sort of holding power in the state right now. How is it that these women are almost leading the violence in a manner, so to speak? How did it come to this?
Hold on, I'll just complete that
if
point.
Sociologically, we can understand it.
They have been blocking the road to Churchandpur all along, and even army couldn't move. Now, more importantly, see, this is shameful for the country. Last week, the army released a video. The Indian army released a video saying that women are blocking us. Can you imagine? So army is also feeling helpless. That is why I said the Supreme Court has to intervene. That is the only solution as of now possible. And give the army a more freedom. Tie their hands. I mean, not tie their hands, loosen their strings on their hands. Let the army act. Let the army restore law and order, peace, and put the culprits behind bars. Because the week I spent there was hardly any report. Those who looted police stations, state is making a pathetic appeal. Please return your snatched weapons. Please return your snatched weapons. State is making an appeal. Is this not a sign of a healthy democracy? So these two things. First, the judiciary must intervene because the government has failed, both the state and the center. And secondly, the army should be, its tied hand should be released, and the army should be able to enforce rule of law, law and order.
So, Mr. Aphao, anything on the suggestions?
Yeah, I want to just I want to give.
Yeah.
See, in Manipur, if we want peace, what example I will give the 2 examples. What they need. Cookie, what they need.
Okay.
Just example, I will give example. They want ST. They want separate state or district, or they want nation, or they want land ownership.
Okay.
If we find out that, we can deal easily. If we are not find out that, very difficult to deal.
Mr. Aphao, I think I'll just intervene. Larger solutions on how the two communities can coexist, and how all that can be a next step. first what all of us need to address and try to go towards is restoration of normalcy and peace. We have to understand that state is so flooded with weapons now. How to de-weaponize the state, how to restore peace and normalcy. That should be the first step. And then one can open up talks on truth and reconciliation, on demands of the various community, and create a new template of coexistence. That is what I feel. I may be wrong. I throw it as a question for all of you. Yeah.
See, if you are not find out that what they need, very difficult to
Right.
deal a problem. And secondly,
Right.
weapon, we cannot very difficult to control a weapon.
Right.
But if you know the region, what the region they are fighting, if we find out that very easy to deal.
But no, this thing is, where we are seeking peace is that from the government.
Yeah.
And if the government itself is involved in this creating the problem, how can be a genuine peace that they can establish?
Yeah.
And also, government is not neutral in this whole aspect. Government is one-sided. And so the people, the cookies can easily understand. They cannot support, they cannot depend on either the chief minister or their MLAs. And they are in a position that they are very weak position that they are not be part of it anytime. And so there must be a unilateral decision has to be taken in terms of, I go with Anton, but only problem is that how far the judiciary is also going to be involved in this whole process. Because normal circumstances, the Chief Justice or the judges will take up this issue as a suo motu issue in order to settle the issue, but they are also not taking it for the last 2 months. Government is not taking an open stand. The classical example is the Prime Minister's silence. So that means the people who are coming there, including the home ministers and others, are coming there only pacifying one side of the people and also to create a kind of an animosity. That is what doing in other parts of India. The civil society movements are also one way are divided because they don't have any kind of a confidence with each other. 2 months back, before this whole conflict, both the communities were together when they were participated in the election. They elected the government together. So that means they are the voting, they are the voters. They have used them for their own election process. And when the time comes, they divide and rule like a British colonialist has done earlier. So we are in a very colonialistic situation at this point of time, unless some neutral persons takes up this issue. I don't think we cannot depend on government. We cannot depend on the civil societies. Even we cannot depend on religion. See, now they are bringing religion also into this, Christian versus Hindus. The valleys are considered to be Hindus and the hills are considered to be Christians. Very unfortunately, many of the Christian churches were destroyed. That also clearly says it is also a communal issue, a religious fundamentalist issue supported by some kind of a people who are outside.
Okay,
yes, I am Frank. I am sitting in Patna, Bihar, and I have been in contact with a lot of people, including Anto, who's there. And we are really very concerned and putting things out, basically trying to get things organized here. It is very, very horrific what is going on there. I am talking about what we can do being so far away. What my efforts have been, I've been trying to at least contact younger groups of students, younger groups of people to hold protests, to hold, you can say, enlightenment sessions with the general citizens, telling them the situation and how bad it is there and how others have to raise their voice demanding that the government speaks. So this is what a small thing that I've been trying to do. Anto just sent me this. I'm in the middle of actually classes right now, but I've taken this break to sit down and listen to you. And yes, so that's all I can possibly do. Try to get the message to more and more Indians, common Indians, and let them start questioning, the government and what is going on. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Yes, Dr. Rini.
Yeah, one thing is that first I'll give you a few informations, then I'll proceed to the national security aspect of it. Number one is that the dead body has been identified 122 plus David Tiak, it will be 123. Those are the identified one. Unidentified are not known yet. So their bodies are kept in three different places. One is that some of them are still in RIMS hospital in Imphal, and in Churachandpur, Lamka area. I think there are two places where mortuary, where the dead bodies are being kept. Funeral has not been conducted. So from that cultural point of view, and from that religious point of view, and from that family point of view, it is a mourning period, 65 days of mourning, crying. The families cannot do anything, so they are still mourning. So no decision has been made because there is no government in Churachandpur area. So the bodies are still there. The smell is terribly bad right now, but what can we do? That is one information I just want to give you. When we look at the situation, when we assess the situation, that from the British rule, boundary mistakes, not only national but also international boundary mistakes has become a big issue that resulted in national security policy. So I wrote an article saying that 3 M's, Manipur, Mizoram, and Myanmar. The 3 M's has become the corridor of drugs. Because we are suffering so much from Myanmar, democracy has been taken away because of the military. Of course, there are many people who knows deeper than me. My knowledge is very shallow to some extent, but I know the effects of this problem.
Yeah, exactly, Rini. This is what I wanted to. That is one of the questions as a journalist I wanted to ask. That we tend to forget that there has been a coup in Myanmar, and in 2021, and the junta, and that has had a rippling effect on our northeastern states, especially Manipur and Mizoram. But there has been a difference in the way Manipur and Mizoram has responded. Why has that happened? And how much of what has happened, the recent coup, the last coup in Myanmar, affected the stability or inter-community relationships and larger socio-political economic situation of the state, destabilize that.
I think that Mizoram is somehow much more homogeneous community. Mizo people are majority, so we speak the same language. Of course, we have minority as well, but still, the tension is a little lesser. It is not the same with Manipur. Yeah, certainly not the same with Manipur. So, of course, that's why we are having refugees, also Myanmar refugees are also in big number. When Manipur government refused them, send them back, especially at the initial stage. When the military coup took over in February 1, 2021. It's already 2 years plus. So somehow, Chief Minister of Mizoram, Mr. Zoramthanga, was saying that they are our people. We are the same people. They are coming here to cross over the boundary for safety. So the moment they step into our state, it is our responsibility to safeguard them and provide them food, shelter, and their safety. So the response was the exact opposite when we welcomed them as a Mizoram, but Manipur did not welcome them. Even if they count, I think the latest statistics reveal that there are only like 200 or 300 Myanmar refugees are staying in Manipur, whereas the number in Mizoram will be 10 times more, or I don't know exactly. Yeah. So that is one thing. Yeah, I think that we would like to know the central government security policy. Why do they have different policy? Why do they have different implementation in different states? Why they are making the armies incapable? Women are blocking the road. They cannot do anything if they don't want to. They are making themselves so vulnerable. Armies cannot do what they are due to do. And whereas they are killing 4 people in the procession, the scale of procession is also much more lower in the Kuki area compared with Imphal area. Aggressive nature is much more milder here, but still they kill 4 of them. The first one they killed was a nurse who was on duty, who was just coming out from the duty, who was helping the injured people. But they kill her. If they kill her, innocent people who are, she is not even blocking the road, she is not even shouting, but she was part of the group. To show, you know what, how protest has become the language of justice, how protest become the language of human right. Yes, they have a right to protest, but why do they kill? But look at the scale of killing, especially the first 100 people killed in the valley areas are civilian, elderly people, women, and children. You know, we have all this biodata. It is uncomparison. These people who are praying in the church are being killed. 73 years old women at 3 o'clock in the morning is killed.
Yeah, Rini, if I can intervene here, in conflict situation, this is what always happens. It's the civilian who have nothing to do with the conflict, nothing to do with propagating violence, who want to coexist, want to get on with their lives, are the worst hit. In any conflict that happens, and in any conflict, what happens is we see within our country or outside in the subcontinent, we've had terrible conflicts. And in each cases, we see a mob morphs into a subhuman group, which can go into, and then they can go to any extent, okay, in any extent, and they cannot be controlled. This is what we have seen in all conflicts in recent times, okay, the riots and the conflicts that we have seen, whether it is in our own country, whether it's in Afghanistan or elsewhere, right? So the point is, that is what happens. That is it's very, very heart-wrenching and very, very sad. But the army is now probably building a case and also saying that in absence, this is what has happened. Is the same Métis women who protested and created a situation, and then there were protests across Manipur, and AFSA was rolled back. And that is what has hindrance now from acting and bringing peace. Okay, that is what is being said now. So what is your view on that? And I would like to have Aphao's view also. And then it means that any gain that has been made by the state in terms of, progressing towards something, that has to be rolled back. So is that what is desirable, and that is what needs to be done right now?
Yeah, see, we know that Meitei women are very strong, especially in the context of Armed Forces Special Power Act. They are using all the instruments they can. And we are very proud of them. And especially when the Manorama was raped and killed in the army camps, as a protest, they also had a naked parade. So those are very cultural weapons that the women are holding. And you see that there is a lot of success story out of that. Yeah. So I am also a woman.
Yeah.
See, the same weapon has been used to mutilate another woman. Where do we draw the balance? Yeah, very difficult. But anyway, I don't want to enter into that too much because I'm also, for 27 years, I was a chairperson of the Women's Studies Department. We offer degrees, master's degrees, and then doctoral degrees, where we know that the strength of women has been instrumental in life-saving, life-giving, life-affirming activities. I don't see now. The Kuki women, the Kuki people don't see now either. For me, I'm only outside observer. I only visited for 10, 11 days, and that is not long enough. So therefore, my fear is that if this continue, it may have a larger Indian national security. This has to be stopped by now. Mr. Prime Minister, please stop this violence. If it is not stopped, it is going on for 65 days. If it is not stopped by this time, I am afraid more enemies will come. Our safety, security as Indians will be a threat. I am in deep fear right now.
I understand. My heart goes out to you, and I can see how what kind of inner turmoil you are going through. As a woman, I am also going through. I'm questioning myself that how does this happen? How do women, a group of women, get converted into a mob which becomes vengeful, and which is not talking about vengeful because they have been violated, but vengeful because they want to wreak violence. This is something I'm also trying to understand. So there needs to be some form of healing and counseling that has to happen once a peace process starts. Once the state shows some political will to rein in the situation, bring in the army in a manner where the situation can be restored. Right? I'm myself very deeply disturbed with this particular aspect as a woman, deeply disturbed by this aspect of the conflict in Manipur. Right? Like you say, I also at one point sort of looked up to this Meitei women, and it is not that the Meitei community has also not suffered. They have also had face brunt of common civilians, okay, not people who are part of the militia, but the common people, Meitei people have also suffered in this process.
Yes, I want
yeah.
to tell you something. Yes, all of them suffer. This is the act of the radical groups. They suffer because there are many stories. It's revealing day by day how Meiteis are protecting the cookies. Unthinkable. We have more than 100 stories of this kind. Yeah. So it is not the Meitei in general. It is the Meiteis in general are very kind-hearted, but it is only the extremists who have done all this problem. Yeah, that we should make a distinction.
Yeah.
Yes. At this juncture, let me also mention that humanitarian need is the urgency, because there is no food. Not even 1 kg has entered to Churachandpur district from Imphal. Where is that food FCI? Are they afraid of anyone? They cannot. With the escort, they can do anything and everything. So what is that indication? They want them to starve to death?
I'm sure that's not the case, but we have to kind of raise our voices in a manner that, you know, we don't reach that kind of a state. You know, there is some intervention of some sort.
I just want to make a few comments. First thing is that the violence is still raging, it has not been controlled. That we have to agree. Second thing is that there's a deliberate silence by the government, and government has to take measures to stop this. But the silence of Prime Minister is very worrisome. And if this similar kind of incident would have happened in any other part of India, I think the magnitude of civil society and people coming out in open protesting would have been more. But since it is happening in one corner of the country, there are not many people who are coming out. Third thing is that the silence of the church leaders themselves is very worrisome. Now only they're making some kind of small prayers and other things. And this will not stop here, because unless and until international pressure comes and the government is forced to act, they will not act. So that means civil society members have to make more noise, bring it to the public domain, and ensure that the rest of the country owns this incident, and it should tear apart their hearts. Then only you will find people coming out and raising their voices against this injustice. Fourth thing, we have to make collaborative efforts to bring out relief, and this violence has to stop. Then only the peace process, the reconciliation process will take place.
Yeah.
Unless and until if this violence is not stopped,
Right.
we cannot do anything. So government has to be put. So there should be two-pronged strategy. One, the church leaders have to come out and put more pressure, bringing more international pressure, because now this is not just 1 day or 2 days. It is going for more than 60 days. So international pressure is what India will act. Otherwise, this government has already had what we call tacit understanding with the antisocial elements, and making this very straightforwardly that government is part of this plan. And that is what we are all agreeing with.
I think it is, escalation. Our problems we have to solve ourselves, right? Escalating it to another level.
If it is ranging out
not,
1 day,
yeah.
1 week, 2 week, 3 week, this is more than 60 days.
Yeah.
And thousands of people. And the one photo which Anto Akkara shared is very shaking our very conscience. A severed head taken by the cookie, head was taken by the Meitei man. That is, where are we?
Yeah,
So
we are
this-
all
this
very,
is
very
where-
disturbed.
That is very, very disturbing.
Disturbed,
And I'm
deeply
sure the
disturbed.
intelligence agencies, whether it is RAW or intelligence bureau, having all information. And first thing comes is that a district collector, if you would have put 144 section on day one itself, this whole thing would have been stopped. This is a law and order problem. If he would have brought in, and if you have asked for the central forces immediately, because the powers of the district collector has so much, and now the civil servants have also become part of this program. That is what is worrisome.
Yeah, see, Now we all want peace. How do you restore peace? I think the number one prerogative to restore peace is end the impunity. People feel they can do anything and get away. Now this, how do you end the impunity? FIR should be filed. FIR should be filed for murders and those who looted police station, looted government weapons. Unless action is taken, what will happen? Now, I mentioned earlier, a BJP Meitei MLA leads a mob to what we call harass the army and to release culprits who were ambushing army unit and killing 16 soldiers. If they can get away, how can you have peace? So the first priority is end impunity. There I said we must enforce the rule of law. And rule of law means there should be a neutral referee. Neutral referee, not the Meitei police as of now. Of course, there are good policemen there, but they are under pressure. That they are under some mobocracy is going on there. So that is why I said a court money, judicial intervention. It's time for the Supreme Court to talk tough to the government. What are you doing? Do you not know your constitutional duty? Do something. No, we must have a campaign, enforce rule of law and the impunity. Without ending the impunity, peace will not be restored. The culprits, now, internet is more than 63 days. People are suffering. I was there when the civil service exam was going on. Imagine those around, I think, 5,000 young men and women took the civil service exam without internet for a month. What about their future? What about their time? People who lost jobs, who lost their businesses, it's all there because of this impunity. Then the impunity must be ended. I think that should be a top priority. Without restoring law and order, you cannot expect peace. Nor now the government announced that schools will reopen. As long as there is no impunity, do you expect parents to send the children to school? I don't think all people are, they are all fundamentalists. No. Always the silent majority is there. But the moment they see, oh, these buggers are behind bars, that gives them a sense of confidence and assurance. Yeah. Oh, yes, the government is there. Now there is no government. To restore the presence of the government, to instill confidence in the people, the first prerogative is to instill what we call end the impunity, and we must use liberal use of Indian Penal Code in Manipur.
Yeah. Can I say a last word?
Yeah, please.
The last word. The other day, Rini Ralte and the team, there are 3 of them from National Federation of Indian Women came, and most of them say that they are the first team to visit them, where they can really broke down their stories. Second time was, of course, Rahul Gandhi came last week, and he also met the refugees, as well as internally displaced people, as well as the family of the dead people. So it was very comforting experience for them. So it may, I don't want to minimize anyone, but until and unless a peace committee has been constituted, where the both parties are willing to accept, otherwise information will be fragmented. People will come in team and they will submit in here and there. So therefore, the peace committee that was constituted for the time being is headed by the chief minister himself, where the complete distrust of these 2 communities you cannot reconcile at this moment. So the demand of the cookies, I cannot speak from politically, but the request I can feel from them is that they are really expecting a fact-finding team to come to tell the true story, to tell the truth. So because they are being falsely accused in all aspects.
Right.
So they are also take a pain of that. So they are requesting the larger community for fact-finding to tell the true stories.
Yeah. Right. Thank you all for joining. and making your raising your voice and sharing your whatever facts that you have gathered, and your suggestion on on restoration of peace and normalcy. Let's pray, hope, and try in whatever small ways we can to bring back peace and normalcy to a very beautiful part of our country, which is Manipur.
In conclusion, quickly, let's recall that the world has witnessed two disastrous world wars, and these world wars really began. The First World War began because of a conflict situation in the Balkans, and let's remember that an assassination led to a violent World War One and thereafter a World War Two. So let's not underestimate any violence, because even as the days progress, even as the authorities fail to stop this violence, even as things are spiraling out of control, each one of us is at risk, because the danger of war, the danger of violence is real. We've seen the extent of violence that Manipur has gone into. So can we all work together for peace? These are questions before us. Thank you for joining us on this program.